small amounts of uncountable nouns to show something. It is used with small amounts of uncountable nouns. Now we move on to our next group of determiners, and this is a group which is very common, and we usually use it in our everyday lives, and that is these, those, that, and these. So we start with this. Now, determiner this is used to show something which is very close to you. For example, this is a duster. It is used with countable nouns which are close to the speaker. Used with countable nouns which are close to the person who is talking. So I've said this is a duster. The duster is very close to me. Then we have the word determiner this. Determiner this is the plural of this, and it is still used with items or things which are close to the speaker, but when there are many. For example, I have these 2 pens, and I'll say I have 2 blue pens. So these are blue pens. The pens are close to me, and that's why I've used the word this. So I can say these pens are blue. It means they are very close to me. Now, apart from looking at things which are very close to you, or referring to things which are very close to you, these 2 words can also refer to ideas which have been mentioned earlier. So the speaker is aware of them. The speaker is aware of these ideas, but they have already been mentioned, maybe in a sentence or in a story that a person is reading. For example, if I say, I was reading a magazine. I was reading a magazine. So I say this magazine was talking about the environment. So it means that when I use the word this, I'm referring to what I was reading. So the word this is referring to an item that have already been mentioned earlier, and the same case applies to the word these. So I'm assuming that I'm changing this sentence to plural. So I'll say I was reading some magazines. So these magazines we're talking about the environment. So we have the word this and we have the word this. The word this is a plural of the word this, and that is how they are used in sentences. Now, then we have the word that, determiner that. Now, as we use the word this to talk about items which are close to the speaker, we use the word that to talk about items which are far from the speaker, items that are not even seen. So, we talk about countable nouns still. Countable nouns not close to the speaker. Not close to the speaker. Okay. So, if I may take an example of the first sentence that we have here, I was reading a magazine. This magazine was talking about the environment. We can also, that magazine is not with me now because I've said I was reading a magazine. The word was shows that you read in the past. It can be a few minutes ago, but the fact remains you're not reading it at this particular time. So I can still say that magazine was talking about the environment. So it talks about things that have already been mentioned in the past. It can also refer to something which is not close to the speaker, but it can be seen from afar. The fact remains that it is not near the speaker. Now we move on to the word those. It is used with plural, countable nouns, plural countable nouns, referring to things which are not close to the speaker. Things which are items which are far items, and in this case, nouns. Maybe you have seen some children playing somewhere, and you can say that those children are playing a bad game. Those cars are moving at a high speed. So the word those and the word that are used to refer to items which are not near the speaker, and the word those is used in plural nouns. Then we move on to another group of determiners, and that group is the use of determiner each, the use of determiner every, and the use of determiner no, and other. So each, every, and no, and other. Okay, so we start with determiner each. So determiner each is used to refer to items in a group. So you use the word each to refer to items in a group, but these items are considered individually. The items are considered individually. For example, you have 10 learners in a class, and you say each of the learners performed well in the exam. You can reach there. Each of the learners, you find that you are referring to each of the learners individually, although we have a group of learners in a class. So you talk about each of the learners performed well. And if you are to use a verb to refer to the learners, you'll say each of the learners is a good performer. Not each of the learners, let me write it. Each of the learners studied hard. Or each of the learners is hardworking. Each of the learners is hardworking. So you find that we have used a singular verb to refer to each of those learners. You have not said each of the learners are hardworking. So when you use are in this case, are is a wrong word in that sentence. So you find that these words, the word each refers to an individual person in a group of many. Now we move on to determiner every, and determiner every is more or less used as determiner each. So I'm saying determiner every is used the way we use determiner each. For example, in a sentence, we may have runners, athletes. So I can say every athlete in the team. Every athlete in the team is running. So it means that we have a team of many, a team of people who are running. So a team of runners or a team of athletes, and each one of them is running at this particular moment. So every athlete in the team is running. So we use the word every to refer to an individual in a group. Then we have the word no, determiner no. Okay, and before I forget, the word every is used in singular nouns. The same case applies to the word each. Is used with singular nouns. Then we move to determiner no. So determiner no is used with plural or singular nouns, and it means not one or none. For example, we can say that none of the cows was injured in the accident, or none of the passengers was injured in the accident. It means not even a single cow or even a single passenger was injured in the accident. So we use the word no. An example in a sentence: no book was found in the bag. Maybe you came across a bag, a school bag, that had been left somewhere, but on checking, there was no book inside. So you say that no book was found in the bag. It can also be used with plural nouns. So we change this sentence into plural and say no books were found in the bag. So the word will tell you whether you are going to use a plural or a singular helping verb depending on the tense of the sentence. Now then we move on to other determiners, and the other determiners are several. The word several. Well, before we move to the word several, I have another one I've not tackled, the word other. The word other or determiner other means something of the same kind. For example, something of the same kind or something which is similar to the one that has been talked about earlier. Something similar to the one that has been talked about earlier. So, if we may take an example of a sentence, give me another plate. It means that the person who is the speaker here has been given another plate earlier, so he or she is asking for a plate, another plate. So it means maybe he will be given a similar plate, or if not similar in color, he'll be given a plate and not a cup. Now, I'm told time is up, and I would have liked to tackle the words several, the word enough, the word a lot of, the word most, fewer, more, and all, but let's plan that for another day. The only thing I would like to say is that this topic is usually tested in KCPE. It is tested in KCPE, and it was tested in 2019. So I'll write the questions which were tested. You can find the question from KCPE past papers. So 2019, number 4 was on determiners. 2016, number 5 and number 7 was on determiners. 2014, number 12 and number 19 were on determiners. 2013, number 7 was on determiners. So learners, I would urge you to go and do the broken passage or the clause, 2019 clause, so that you may lay emphasis on number 4. It is on determiners. 2016, the clause or the broken passage, number 5 and number 7 are on determiners. 2014, we have number 12, which is in the clause, and we also have the other part, the grammar part, number 19. You can look at them. Then we have 2013, number 7 is on determiners. It is always good to refer to past KCP papers, because even the exams which are usually set, most of the times they are based on past papers. The same topics are usually repeated, so it's always good you look at those past papers, and they'll help you a great deal in revising for your KCP. And you should remember that the KCP has not been postponed. Remember, the CS for Education has been saying that now and again, that the exam has not been postponed. So you have to revise. If you want to do well, revise, and mostly revise with past papers. But it is always good to read the notes which are in textbooks. And when I say textbooks, I don't mean all the textbooks. I mean the course books. They are very important because they base their exams on the course books. So learners, revise at home. Parents, guide the learners so that they may revise well and revise what is necessary. So for today, it is goodbye. We hope to meet another day to finish on this topic on determiners and maybe look at a few questions that can help us in revising the topic. So for today, it's goodbye and we meet next time.